Right, hi guys, I'm Jack, and what I did 10 years ago when I built my garage is I thought of a good layout for my lights, and I got about five twin 5-foot fluorescent lights with that were instant start, and in my workshop area they're covered. As you can see, they're a fully enclosed unit, but what I've found, what really annoys me, is the unreliability of the ballasts. I've probably replaced about 3 ballasts so far, and a good example is when I have them on for a bit, I can go out, turn them off, go out for 5 minutes or so, and then when I come back, not all of them are running, not all of them want to start up. So I'm going to swap them out for LEDs. I'm going to have a look at 2 different types. One, as they suggest down at the electrical stores that I've been to in my town, they've both said just buy a whole unit. Don't bother trying to swap them out for tubes, and keep your existing batten holders, light fittings. They say to just buy a whole complete unit. It's cheaper and it's better. I've got this one here that it's just a single strip lighting down, LED strip down the centre of it, and I've hung this up, but I'm sort of reserved. I don't really think it's up to the same integrity as my fluorescents. I just don't know, it probably is, but it's something new, it's sort of playing on my mind a bit. So what I've done after searching the internet a lot, I've decided I'll put in a couple of twin tube LEDs and keep my existing light fittings, because I actually like those light fittings. I think they're nice, and I think with 2 tubes going it might be better. The fluorescent I just like so much better, because at this stage anyway, because they tend to be softer and they flow around better, I reckon, despite the theories of LEDs. But I haven't tried the 2 twins yet. Right, now one of the big hang-ups why the electrical stores, they try and encourage you just to buy a whole complete unit, is because of the hassle involved. You've got to rewire, they say, your existing batten holders or light fittings. I've searched the internet, and what I can come up with is it should be a piece of pie. I'm about to show you here what I've wired, and it's absolute rudimentary form. It is very dangerous, so I don't advise anyone to do it, but I just wanted to satisfy both myself and to show you ultimately what you're trying to do. This here is just a power cord that I've got it plugged into a socket outlet. It's a 3-core, and as you can see at the end of the tube, the power on this one is on one end only, and it's not polarity sensitive. It doesn't indicate which side you put your neutral on or your phase on. So I've got the 2 wires, the neutral and the phase, and I've just hooked it up at this end, and I'm about to turn it on, and this is the effect that we're after. Now, as I mentioned, this is extremely dangerous, so I'm going to disconnect it all now, immediately. And but it just shows that the batten holder or your light fitting is just a glorified light holder, is all it is. Provided your tombstones aren't shunted, and if they are, we'll have to get rid of the shunt, but otherwise it's just as basic as what I've got sitting here demonstrated on the table. That's all it is. Now, like I say, this is incredibly dangerous. I've got it plugged into a 20 amp circuit breaker, which is not good at all for a light, and I'm going to dismantle this now and get hooking it up. Right, now the first thing to do is to ensure that the power is off. Now don't be fooled, If you're relying on the light switch to determine that, then consider this. Now the power is actually on, the light's just not. Pull out your voltage stick and stick it at one end and see if the power's on. Now these voltage sticks are only an indicator. They let you know that power's there, but they don't let you know that it's not. However, turning the light switch off and turning the breaker off at the switchboard and testing it with one of these is probably about the best you can do with fluorescence. Right, for this phase of the operation I'm going to be wearing glasses because it's taking out a fluorescent tube. I could be killing myself a bit. Maybe I need gloves as well. I could end up like a spacesuit in the end if I get carried away. Right, well, it's vitally important that before you test your appliance, you test your testing equipment in a known live source such as the socket outlet before you believe what it says, just so that you know your testing equipment is actually functional. Right, now with the back off, you can see the phase going in here. That's our hot wire or line or live or active phase. The earth in the middle there and the neutral on this side. And here we can see the phase over here and the neutral here. And they actually attach onto the ballast and ultimately come back to the tombstones here, one either side. And I've got to determine now whether these are shunted or non-shunted. Non-shunted is what we want. Right, now to remove these tombstones, you just press on these little latches there and push them up through the upside there. Right, now to get this baby open, there's a wee catch right there that locks into there, and I've just prized it open and just managed to get the back of the tombstone open enough to get my BHAR in and my continuity tester, and just to see, and I've determined that these are non-shunted tombstones. Right, for the ease of videoing, I'm going to do this next wiring part on the bench, and that's mostly because I swapped this batten holder or light fitting out for the complete LED unit, and I had this off the ceiling, but now I'm going to retrofit it and stick it on. So I'm going to do that on the bench. It's going to make it easier to video as well. Right, what we can see is we can see the wires coming in through the phase and going along into the ballast, and the neutral the same, and we've got wires coming on the other end of the ballast. So we're going to start now by removing the ballast. Now these oddball looking almost screw type things, they just push down, out come the wires. Same on the other end. And then we simply unscrew and remove the ballast. Right, with the ballast removed, we then take this wire and this one's going to be our phase. Undo the phase now. It simply goes in like that. This neutral wire he's going to come out he's going to go straight in here, just like so. And this wire is going to jump from there which is your neutral. And he's going to simply just push into that hole. And that's it done. So we've got our live feed coming in here. It goes round and into this side of the tombstone and then loops over into that side to power that one up. Neutral comes in and it goes to this side and then it loops over to the other side and powers that up. And because they're non-shunted stones, they're not joined together and going to create a short, and you still retain your fuse. Once we do that, you still got your wee 3 amp fuse sitting there, as well as your circuit breaker. Now this other end, I'm simply just going to pull the wires out, as animal as it may be, because they're not in use, and those stones here, they just hold the other end of the fluoro. Right, with that all in place now, it's time just to stick the underside back in, clip it all in, and then stick the tubes in, making sure that the power end of the tube is down the power end of the tombstone. On with the diffuser. On with the breaker. Now on with the switch. Now I think that's brilliant. I really like it. It's very comparable with the existing fluoros, and there's none of that horrible ballast. It's got a small degree of latency compared with the other instant start ones when they do decide to start, the fluorescent ones, but to be honest with you, that's what I'm talking about right there. Right, well I've now swapped all my fluorescent light tubes out with the new LEDs. Apart from the one that you see over above the drill press at the far end. Now let's put them to the test and simulate what I do. Well, I forgot my screwdriver. Oh, I forgot my crescent. Oh, forgot my hammer. Oh, I forgot my $200,000 CNC lathe. Wait a minute, where is the $200,000 CNC lathe? Unfortunately, these things are going to have to put out a lot more lumens than they are if we're to see 200 large worth of CNC lathe floating around my workshop. But anyway, you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. I can go outside and forget my head and straightway turn them back on, find it again and stick it on my shoulders. Right, well there you have it. It's my new LED. I really quite like my old existing fittings, and as I showed you, it's very easy to replace the unit or modify the unit to suit the LEDs. You got to choose whether you want to go that way or the single complete unit. The single complete unit is cheaper, but the other way with the twin bulbs, I actually quite like it, and it's easier to fit, in my opinion. So anyway, I hope you've learnt something from the video and that you may be able to change them over yourself to LEDs and run at about a half of the price in electricity, and hopefully still keep the same amount of light whilst having a bit more reliability than the old ballast start jobs and the fluorescents. Okay, I'm Jack from Mad Jack's videos, and once again, thanks for watching.